The leaders of Europe, NATO, the United States, and Ukraine had a very good conversation on Wednesday ahead of the meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Alaska. This was reported by the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. Quote, "Together with Donald Trump, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and other European leaders, we had a very good conversation," von der Leyen wrote. She also said that the participants in the conversation exchanged views on the upcoming bilateral meeting in Alaska between U.S. President Trump and Kremlin leader Vladimir Putin. Today, Europe, the U.S., and NATO have strengthened their common position for Ukraine. The leaders will continue to maintain close coordination. No one wants a just and lasting peace more than we do, von der Leyen emphasized. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte commented on the phone call between U.S. President Trump, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy, and European leaders. Rutte posted a comment on the social network X and wrote, "Great conversation with Trump, Zelenskyy, and European leaders on the eve of President Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska. We are united in our desire to end this war and achieve a just and lasting peace," the NATO Secretary General said, adding that he appreciates the leadership of U.S. President Trump and close coordination with allies. "The ball is now in Putin's court," Rutte summarized. U.S. President Donald Trump told European leaders that he wants to achieve a ceasefire in Ukraine during a meeting with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. This was stated by French President Emmanuel Macron. Speaking to the media after the phone call, Macron told reporters that the leaders supported calls for a more active exchange of prisoners and the release of Ukrainian children abducted by Russia during the war. He also said that Trump assured European leaders that any territorial issues related to Ukraine cannot be resolved without Ukraine's participation, adding, "We support that position." Macron also said that the leaders made it clear that there should be a clear link between any potential territorial concessions and security guarantees for Ukraine. The next meeting of the contact group in the Ramstein format will take place in September. Its preparation has begun. This was reported by Defense Minister Dennis Shmyhal on Telegram. Shmyhal had a telephone conversation with British Defense Secretary John Healey. The defense ministers discussed preparations for the next meeting in the Ramstein format. The meeting will be in September. We have coordinated our main positions. I thanked Britain for organizing the meeting. The defense ministers also discussed the development of joint production and the implementation of bilateral projects in the defense industry. Shmyhal expects the UK to play an important role in the new U.S. NATO Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List mechanism. Through this mechanism, NATO member states and partners have the opportunity to finance the supply of American weapons and technology through voluntary contributions. In terms of sanctions, Ukraine's allies may gradually ease sanctions against Russia if a full ceasefire is achieved. This was reported by Sky News, citing sources close to the EU Council presidency. At the same time, according to the interlocutors, sanctions will be renewed in case of any violations. The allies hope that the 15-day ceasefire will be reached soon, before a more structured pause in the fighting begins in Ukraine. Italian government sources also said they will push for U.S. President Donald Trump to include Europe in his talks with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin on Ukraine, when the two spoke by video on August 13th. The Italian diplomat noted that Trump is asking European countries to increase military spending, so we have to participate in these decisions. The sources emphasized that during the conversation, Italy will emphasize the need for clear military, economic, and political guarantees for Ukraine. Since these are assumptions about the conversation that took place, we can only rely on specific sources and consider this as an option.